Maybe you can feel the back of the body as it gently rises and then falls again against the touch of the ground on your skin. And then bringing some more awareness here into your heart space. Three-dimensional space of your heart. And perhaps feeling the beating, the breath in this space. Just beginning to let your breath draw a little bit more into this space. So as you inhale, feel the chest rise, take a deeper breath. And then as you exhale, really gently let this fall back to the center. Breathing in, feel the chest rise. Maybe feeling the back of the chest press into the ground. And as you exhale, just really gently letting this fall back to center. Just breathing in this way, a few more breaths. Feeling the expansion of the rib cage, the contraction of the rib cage as you breathe out. Face is relaxed. Equal breath in and out here. And then after your next inhalation, gently hold your breath at the top of your lungs. And then open your mouth wide and exhale through the mouth. And just take another 2 breaths like this in your own time. Breathing in deeply, holding the breath at the top of your lungs, and then exhaling through the mouth. And just let your breathing return to natural, to normal after you've done those 2 cleansing breaths. Now, when you're ready, beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a big stretch with your body, reach your arms and your legs away from each other. Perhaps it feels good to sigh here, taking a big stretch. And then bringing both of your knees towards your chest to give yourself a squeeze. You can rock gently from side to side, just beginning to wake up the spine here this morning. It might feel good to circle the knees. Imagine you're drawing a big circle above your pelvis. And then changing directions with your circle as well. And then allowing your feet to fall so that they're underneath your knees here. Hip distance apart, pressing the soles of the feet into the floor. Keep the shoulders relaxed here. Imagine that you're squeezing something between your knees. Take a breath in and gently press the lower back into the ground and lift your pelvis off of the floor. Very slightly, mini bridge. And then take a breath out and let your spine come back down. Just moving with the breath like this. So inhaling, feet press into the ground, pelvis lifts, spine comes off the earth. And exhaling, everything settles back down. Just take 3 more rounds of this movement in your own time. Feeling the spine rise, and then feeling it settle back to center. And then once you've done 3 of those, gently knock your knees together. Take a moment, let the spine relax. Might feel good to take a breath out through the mouth. And then take your time to bring your feet back underneath your knees here. So we can have the option of doing exactly the same as what we were just doing, or we can have an option of adding in a leg lift here. So find your feet on the earth, press them into the ground, inhale, lift through the pelvis. This time we're going to stay here. So squeeze through your glute. And then option to press the left foot into the floor and see if you can lift that right leg up towards the sky, pointing through the toes. Take a breath out, bring the right foot back to the ground. And then other side, breathing in, left foot rises, left toes point. One more time on each side. See if you can keep the pelvis in neutral here. So you're squeezing the glute. Inhaling, right leg lift. Exhaling, bring it back down. And then inhaling, left leg lift. Exhaling, bring it back down. Really nice. Take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, slow motion, let your spine relax back down to the ground. Pelvis comes all the way to the earth. Again, you can knock your knees together here and gently sway them from side to side just to release the lower back. And then if your spine feels okay, gently bring your knees back in towards your chest. Take a hug, take a squeeze. And then we'll extend our legs up towards the sky. So your knees can be nice and bent here. Let the hands relax to your side and kick your heels away from you as much as you can. Feet hip distance apart so that the femur bones can fall back into their socket. And just take a moment here, feeling the lower back press into the ground. Then bringing both of your hands behind your head, interlacing your hands. Keep the elbows nice and wide as you breathe in. Lift up to look at the knees, head and shoulders off of the ground. Keep your feet above your hips here. Squeeze the core. Breathe. I'm going to take 5 breaths like this. Can you keep your breath deep so you're still breathing into the back of the body? Last 3 breaths. Really nice. Take an exhalation, bring the head back down to the earth. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Relax the abdominals, sway from side to side. So we'll do that one more time. I'm going to give you an option to, again, move the legs. So when you're ready, bring the feet up towards the sky. Have the hands behind the head, keeping them nice and wide. Take a breath in, squeeze through the belly, lift up through the head and shoulders. And then an option to release your right leg towards the ground as you exhale. Inhale, lift the right leg back up. Exhale, left leg towards the ground. Inhale, left leg back up. Keep squeezing the belly. Exhale, right leg back down. Inhaling, right leg back up. Exhaling, left side. Really nice. One more time each side. Inhaling. Exhaling, right leg. Kick out through the heel. Inhaling, lift up. Exhaling, left leg. And then inhaling to lift back up. Take an inhalation. And then exhale, release the head and shoulders back towards the ground. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. So from here, we'll come up to seated. So you can either take a few rolls on the spine, or you could roll to one side and push yourself up. And then coming straight into a tabletop position. So finding your way onto your hands and your knees. Spreading all 10 of your fingers wide. And then an option here to tuck all 10 of your toes as well. But if that doesn't feel comfortable, then you can stay with them flat on the ground. Take a moment here to really press the ground away. Find that neutral position with the pelvis. Back of the neck is nice and long, so we're looking between the hands. Find that deeper breath again. Let's take a breath in and dip the belly, look forward. As you exhale, round through the spine, looking towards the knees or the navel. Inhaling, come back into cow, dip the belly. Exhaling, round through your spine. Just take a few more rounds of cat-cow like this. It might feel good to close your eyes, feeling the undulation of your spine. Let's do one more inhale and one more exhale. When you're ready, inhaling to come back into center. Keep your toes tucked here, push up through the hands, lift the knees, come into downward facing dog. Knees nice and bent here. We would shake the head from side to side to release the neck, pressing the earth away with all 10 fingers, lifting the hips super high. Really nice. Notice how your shoulders feel here. See if you can scoop the inner armpits towards each other so that the shoulder blades spread. Let's take one more breath. Really nice. Take an exhale, bring your knees as slow as you can back towards the ground into your tabletop position. And then untuck your toes here. Take a moment to let the shoulders rest over the hands, and then inhale your right leg behind you. Kick out through that heel. Keep the leg in line with your pelvis, so we're not bringing the leg up too high. We're using the core to stabilize. Option to stay here, or you could release your left hand forward, finding that. Breathing here, reaching the leg and the arm away from you. Let's take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, bring the knee, the nose, and the elbow together. Round your spine. Inhale to reach back out into that position. Breathing in, grow long. Exhaling, find your rounding again. Knee, nose, and elbow together. Inhalation draws your whole body long. Just take one more round like this. Exhaling. And then inhaling. Really nice. Take a breath out, release your left hand back towards the floor. Inhale here, stretch your right leg behind you. And then exhale, bring your right knee towards your nose. Really round your spine. Press through the hands. And then take a breath into the rib cage here. As you exhale, see if you can step that right foot forwards. Move your hands, coming into a lunge. Take a breath in, sweep the arms up, hands shoulder distance apart. Look wherever your gaze feels comfortable. Let the gaze soften, find your breath. Just warming up your hip flexor on the left-hand side here. Take one more deep breath in. As you breathe out, bring the hands to the outside edges of your front foot. Tuck your back toes, step back into downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Feeling the hamstrings lengthen, shaking the head if that feels good. Finding your deep breaths. Taking one more breath like this. Next exhale, again, find your knees slowly moving down towards the ground, moving with control. And then again, moving your hands directly underneath the shoulders, ready for the other side. Taking a breath in to release that left leg behind you, kick out through your heel. And then an option to stay here or to lift that right arm forwards as well, finding your balance. Really nice. Imagine someone was pulling on both your hand and your leg so you can stretch really long. Next exhalation, bring the knee towards the nose, bring the elbow in, round your spine. Inhale, moving slowly, reach out again. Wobbling is okay. Exhaling, coming back to center. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, let's stretch really long again. Let the arm and the leg come to straight, and then bring that right hand back down. Take a breath in here, stretch the left leg away. Exhale, round the left knee towards the nose, and then take a deep inhalation here, fill the lungs. As you exhale, step that left foot forwards, lifting the hands, coming into a low lunge. Inhaling, sweeping the arms, lifting up. And then finding the breath, relaxing the jaw, allowing the shoulders to relax down the back. And can you tune into how your body feels? Just taking one more breath in. As you breathe out, bring the hands to frame the front foot, stepping back into downward facing dog. Just taking one breath here. Bending your knees to look forwards. Take some baby steps to get towards the front of your mat, bending the knees a lot here. Exhale, release the head, neck, and jaw down towards the earth. Let yourself hang, option to grab a hold of each elbow here. Swaying from side to side, keeping the knees generously bent. On your next exhale, release the hands. As you inhale, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae through your spine, allowing the shoulders to hang as you rise. Finding your way into Tadasana, mountain pose. So feet hip distance apart or big toes touching. And let's lift all 10 of our toes up here. Spread them wide in the air and imagine you're placing them down on tracing paper. So super slowly, you're trying not to move that tracing paper. Lift the inner arches of the feet, relax the shoulders away, palms of the hands turn forwards. Take a deep breath here. Inhaling, reach up, lengthen through the arms. As you exhale, fold forward, bend your knees, take your time. Take an inhalation, lift through the chest, hands to the shins or fingertips on the ground. As you exhale, hands to the floor, bend the knees, step back to plank pose. So you have the option to lower the knees for this plank pose or to keep them lifted. 5 breaths. Heels kicking away from the crown of the head. Back of the neck nice and long, looking between the hands. 3 more breaths. And you slightly bend your elbows, releasing the shoulders away from your ears. Last breath. Really nice. Take an exhalation, bring your knees to the ground. Inhale here. As you exhale, bend your elbows, come all the way down to your belly. Take a breath in here. Press through the tops of the feet. Lift the chest, lift the shoulders. Take an exhalation here. See if you can lift up a little bit higher on your inhale. As you exhale, bring your chin back towards the ground. Tuck your toes. Push up through your knees into downward facing dog. Just taking one steady breath here, finding your drishti, your gaze between your feet. Nice. Bending your knees to look forwards. Take some baby steps or one big step to get to the front of your mat. Inhaling here, hands to the shins, lengthen the spine forward. Exhaling, fold over the legs. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhaling, press through the feet, rise up, reach up. Exhaling, bring the hands to your sides into Tadasana. Take a breath here. Find that stable foundation. Crown of the head reaching up, feet rooting into the earth. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling to fold forwards, bending your knees if you need to. Inhaling, lengthen the spine. Option to have the fingertips on the ground here. Keep the knees bent if you need to. Exhaling, place the palms down, step back to plank pose. Take an inhalation, option to lower through the knees or to come straight through to your belly through a push-up. Take an inhalation here, lifting through the chest, elbows scoop towards the back of the mat, knees off the ground. As you exhale, chin back to the earth, press through the hands to lift the hips high to downward facing dog. One deep breath here. Jaw is relaxed, face is relaxed. Gently bending the knees to look forward, stepping or jumping your feet to the front of the mat. Take an inhalation to lift the heart space. As you exhale, folding forwards over the legs. Take a breath in to reach up and rise up. Look up. And as you exhale, bring the hands to your sides again. Find Tadasana. If they're not already, bring the big toes to touch here. Feet together. Take a breath in, sit your hips down, reach your arms up for Utkatasana, chair pose. Check in with how your pelvis is. We want it to be in a lovely neutral position here, and then sit down a little bit deeper. Find your glutes, squeeze your thighs, breathe. On your next exhalation, folding forwards over your legs. Take an inhalation, extend your spine, fingertips to the ground, hands on the shins. As you exhale, step your right foot back here. Inhaling, press through the left foot, reach up into a high lunge, arms reaching up. So keep that right knee bent slightly here. Find a stable position with your hands and then look somewhere that feels comfortable with your gaze. Taking a breath in, reach up with your arms, find space. As you breathe out, bend that back knee even more. Cactus your arms, elbows in line with the shoulders. Breathing in, reaching up, back leg straightened. Breathing out, bending the back knee. Do that 2 more times, moving with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. Let's take a breath in, reaching up through the arms. As you breathe out, turn your back foot out so it's facing the short edge of the mat. Open through your arms for warrior 2 pose. Press through the outside edge of your back foot, reach the arms away from each other. Look over your front middle finger. Take a breath in, flip the front palm, reach down the back leg, reverse your warrior. Feel the length in your side body. As you breathe out, bring your front forearm to your front thigh, reaching over with your right hand. Come into your extension. Breathing in, reverse your warrior, reach down the back leg, front leg still bends. And then breathing out, coming back into your extension, front forearm to the front thigh. One more time. Inhaling, lengthen through the side body. And then exhaling, find that space, bend that front knee. Take a breath in, come back into your warrior 2 pose. See if you can bend your front knee a little bit more, find more space in your hips. Inhale, straighten through your front leg. Exhale, reach towards the front of your mat. Imagine you're between two panes of glass. And then exhale, bring your left hand down towards your shin or your thigh and reach up with your right. Trikonasana triangle pose. Find your foundation with your feet here. Reach through both arms. Let your gaze settle. 3 more breaths like this, elongating the inhalation and the exhalation. Really nice. Take an inhalation, reach back up with your backhand. As you exhale, windmill your hands to frame your front foot. Step back into your plank pose. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, option to lower the knees or to come into chaturanga. Inhaling, finding upward facing dog. Knees off the earth. Exhaling, lifting your hips back to downward facing dog. Option to take a breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Next, inhalation, bending your knees to look forward, stepping or jumping your feet to the front of the mat. Take a breath in here, lift through your heart. As you exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, press your feet into the earth, lift up, rise up. Exhale, come back to Tadasana. Option to close your eyes. Take a moment to check in with how the body feels. Finding stillness within the movement of our practice. When you're ready, bringing the feet back together, big toes touching. Inhaling, sit the hips down, sweep the arms, fingertips touch the earth, come back into chair pose. Can you sit a little bit deeper as you exhale, reaching the arms away from the seat, spine is long, one more breath. Really nice. Next exhalation, let's come back down to the ground. Inhalation, lift through the chest. Exhalation, step back with that left foot. Inhaling, press the right foot into the ground, rise up to your high lunge. Bending that back knee slightly, finding your balance. Then breathing in to reach up and lengthen. Breathing out to bend the back knee almost to the earth, cactus the arms. Inhaling, finding length, lifting up. Exhaling, bending that back knee one more time. Inhaling. And exhaling, really nice. Let's take a breath in, reach up again. And then as you breathe out, turn that back foot out for warrior two. Looking over the front middle finger of your front palm. Take a moment here to really press the outside edge of your back foot into the earth. Inhaling, flip your front palm, reach down your back leg, find length in your side body. Exhaling, bring your right arm to your right thigh, reach over with your left. Inhaling, come back into reverse your warrior. And exhaling, bring the front forearm to the front thigh one more time. Keep that front knee bent here as you inhale and reach back, strengthen the leg. And then exhaling, finding that length, really nice. Take a breath in, come back to warrior two. Then you exhale and bend that knee, sink a little bit deeper. Inhaling, straightening that front leg. As you exhale, reach towards the front of the room, find space in the side body. And then right hand down towards the right shin, reaching up with the left, Trikonasana. And you still feel the outer edge of your back foot pressing into the earth. Let's take another 3 breaths like this. Inhales and exhales, the same length. Really nice. Let's breathe in and reach slowly back up. As you exhale, windmill your hands, frame your front foot, stepping back into your plank pose. Take an inhalation here, exhale, chaturanga, or all the way to the earth. Inhaling, upward facing. Exhaling, downward facing dog, really nice. Breathing here. On your next inhalation, rolling more weight into your toes, lift your heels off the ground. Engage your core, ripple through the spine into a plank pose, shoulders stack over the wrist. As you exhale, bend your knees, press into your hands, lift your hips back to the sky, downward facing dog. So inhaling, roll through the spine, shoulders ripple forwards, come into plank. Exhaling, bend the knees and come back. Just play with this movement in your own time for a few more breaths. Notice how it feels to use your core and ripple forwards. And then to push back into downward dog. Moving with your breath. Just do one more in your own time. Let's inhale and ripple forward into plank pose here. Heels and crown of the head moving away from each other. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower for 5. So you could lower the knees here, or you could stay with the legs straight. Take a breath in, and then exhale, lower slightly. 1, 2, lowering a little bit more. 3, really nice. 4, and 5, really nice. Let your body settle on the ground. Take a breath in here, press into the feet, lift through the chest, and then see if you can lift your hands as well. Keep the back of your neck nice and long by looking at the ground. Press the pubic bone into the floor. Breathe. 1 more breath like this. Next exhalation, lower all the way to the floor. Let your hands rest by your sides. Look over towards the right. Completely relax your entire body. Next inhalation, looking back to the ground. Keep your hands by your sides this time. Next inhalation, see if you can lift your head and shoulders off of the ground. Pressing the toes into the floor, knees are lifted, and then see about lifting your hands as well. So shoulder blades are squeezing together, feeling the lower back working, feeling the spine lifting up. Can you take 3 breaths like this? Inhaling, lifting up, exhaling, squeezing the glutes. Last breath. Really nice. Exhale, relax all the way down, look over to the left, completely relax your entire body. Next inhalation, looking towards the ground again, chin to the floor. So option to stay with that last movement that we did, or you could bring your hands behind you and clasp them the way that they don't normally clasp. Let them rest towards your lower back. Next inhalation, slowly lifting through the head and shoulders, move the shoulders back and then lift your hands as well. Imagine someone was pulling you back. Press the toes into the floor, glutes are engaged, knees lifting, and then see if you can breathe like this. Remember the back of the neck nice and long, looking towards the ground. Inhaling, lifting up a little bit higher. Exhaling to stay. Let's take another breath like this. Really nice. As you exhale, release everything to the floor. Look over to the right. Completely relax the body. Option here to sway the hips gently from side to side. So for the next movement, we're going to keep our forehead glued to the ground. We'll reach both of our arms forwards, palms facing in towards each other. And important that you keep your head on the ground. So let your head come to the earth. Relax your body here. And then as you inhale, lift through your right arm and your left leg. Imagine someone was pulling you backwards with both your arm and your leg, and see how high you can lift both of them. 3 more breaths like this. You could kick out through the heel or point the toes, whatever feels best for you. Really nice. Next breath out. Let's bring the foot and the hand down. Breathing in, left hand, right leg lifts. Finding the breath. See how high you can lift the hand and the leg. 1 more breath like this. Exhaling, come back down. Inhaling, we'll see if we can lift all feet, all hands at the same time. Let's take a breath in. See how high you can lift both your hands, both your feet. Keep reaching the arms and the legs away from each other. Breathe. Forehead is glued to the ground. Let's take 2 more breaths like this. And then when you're ready, exhaling, come back down. Make a pillow with your hands. Look over to whichever side feels good for you. Completely relax your body. Again, you could sway the hips from side to side, releasing the lower back. Notice how the spine feels. So this time we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So bringing the elbows underneath your shoulders, palms of the hands spread wide. The same thing here with the back of the neck, looking between your thumbs so that the back of the neck stays nice and long. You might like to close your eyes here, engaging the glutes. See if you can lift the bottom 2 ribs off the floor by engaging the core. Then extend through the crown of your head, lift up a little bit higher into the chest. Breathing here. You have the option to stay exactly where you are, or if you feel like your spine is feeling good, you could begin to lift the elbows just off of the mat, pressing into the hands, keeping the chest nice and lifted. If there's any pinching, then come back down. You could always walk your hands forwards a little bit if this feels like you haven't got enough space. Beginning to straighten the arms. And then let's see if we can look up a little bit, opening through the front of the neck. Let's take a few breaths here into that heart space. Every breath in, feeling the rib cage expand. And every breath out, feeling that energy come back to center. 1 more breath. As you exhale, slow motion, bring the elbows back down. Imagine you're draping your body on the floor, trying to make the spine super long as you again make a pillow with your hands. Look over to whichever side feels best for you. Shaking the hips from side to side if that feels good. One more breath here, letting the body relax, letting the mind relax. When you're ready, we're going to come back into Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath the shoulders, palms of the hands spread wide. We're going to use this as a transition. So make sure you're looking after your lower back here. If it feels strange at all, then come back to lying down on your front and give it a rest. So we're going to tuck our toes here, kick the heels away from us. Keep your knees on the floor, press into the forearms, and then lift up through your belly, engage the core.
And then see if you can lift your knees. So we're in a forearm plank here. If at any stage you need to, then bring the knees back down to the ground. Really press the forearms into the floor. Bring the shoulders away from the ears and kick your heels away from you. Finding your breath here. Really nice. Let's take one more breath. On your exhalation, bring the knees back to the ground. See if you can scoop your belly forward, slowly bringing it back to the floor, coming back into Sphinx pose. Let the feet relax. Take a breath in. And then again, a breath out, draping your body back over the earth, bringing the hands in front of you, making a pillow with your hands. Just taking a moment to relax here. And take your time to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Press up into a tabletop position. And then we're going to sit our hips back towards our heels. And so we're in kneeling. So we're going to have a go at Ustrasana, camel pose. Please listen to your lower back. We'll come up into kneeling. Knees hip distance apart. And then tuck your toes here as well, so that we have a nice place for our hands to come down to. Importantly, we want to keep our hips over our knees as much as possible here. So keep pushing your hips forwards, but engaging your core. So let's bring our hands onto our knees here. And as you inhale, engage your core and see if you can lift up through your chest. Imagine that you're pushing your chest up towards a light, towards the sky. And then let's breathe out and release that. Just come back into neutral. Let's try with our hands on our lower back, palms facing towards the bum, fingers facing down, squeeze the elbows. Engage your core here. Imagine you're making your bum really flat. Inhale, lift up through your chest, and then see if you can use your hands to support your back. So maybe you'll begin to push your hips forwards, finding that deeper back bend. You could stay here, lifting through the chest. Or if you feel like you have space, you could bring one hand and then the other hand down to your heels. Check in with your lower back. Push your hips forward, keep the core engaged. Make sure the chin, the neck is happy. You could always release your head back. What's happened to your breath here? Breathing into the chest. Breathing out slowly. Let's take one more breath here. Can you find that space of love in your heart center? Really nice. To come out, bring one hand to your lower back and then the other. Lift up through the chest, reverse that motion. And then let's come into a tabletop position here. Untucking your toes. Imagine that you had a tail and you're trying to look at your tail, shortening one of your side bodies, looking over to the right. Same thing on the left. Just moving in this way, releasing the spine. Very nice. So we're going to do that one more time. If your lower back feels like it needs a rest, you can always come into child's pose. But if not, then bringing your knees underneath your hips again. Toes are nice and tucked. Little toe is underneath as well. Hands on the lower back. You could always stay in this position here, just lifting through the chest, finding that extension in your spine. If you want to come back into camel pose, lifting the chest, make sure the bum is nice and long, squeezing the elbows, find that extension, inhaling, lifting up. When you're ready, bringing your hands back onto your heels, driving the hips forwards. And let's take 5 breaths here. If you need to come out sooner, listen to your body. Can you find that long and deep, nourishing breath in this pose? Every deep breath in, drawing new energy into your body. And every breath out, releasing toxins. One last breath here. Really nice. Same thing, safely coming out, one hand onto the lower back. Inhaling, coming back up. Exhaling, come back into your tabletop, untucking the toes, and then looking from side to side. And then walking your hands back towards your heels. We're going to come into a seated position. So find your way back onto your mat. Extend both of your legs away and give them a shake. So from here, bring your right knee to bend and bring the right foot to the outside edge of your left. You can have the sole of the foot on the ground. Kick the heel of your left foot away, and then bring your left arm to hug your right knee, and then bring your right hand behind you for a twist. Take a breath in, press your right hand into the floor, lengthen the spine. As you breathe out, squeeze the knee, twist a little bit deeper. And keep these micro movements happening. So inhaling, extending, exhaling, twisting. You might like to close down the eyes. One more deep breath like this. As you exhale, gently untwisting. Bring the sole of the right foot to the inner upper left thigh, preparing for Jamritasasana. You can have the left knee slightly bent here, and you might like to remove the fleshy part of your sit bones. So let's take a breath in, hands to the ground, lift through the chest, extend. As you breathe out, folding forwards. Doesn't matter how far you come down. Inhaling again, lifting the chest. Exhaling, folding forwards. And just come down to how your body feels today. If you can go deeper, then great. If you're still working with sitting up, then that's also great. Notice where your mind is right now and see if you can focus the attention inwards. Breathing into the lower back, breathing into the spine. Can you keep the muscles of your face relaxing? Next inhalation, slowly walking your hands back into a seated position. Extending through that right leg and gently giving the legs a little shake. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bending that left knee, left sole of the foot to the outside edge of the right leg. Kick the right heel away. Hug your left knee with your right hand. And then bring your left hand behind you. Take a breath in to press through the fingertips of the left hand as you exhale, twisting. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, twisting deeper. Then you might like to close the eyes here. When you're ready, inhaling, coming back to center, gently untwisting. Sole of the left foot to the inner upper right thigh. You can keep that right knee nice and bent here if you need to. Breathing in, finding extension through the spine. Breathing out, folding forward. Again, working with your body, doing what feels good today for Can you relax the muscles of your face and let your attention be drawn inwards to how your body feels here? Next inhalation, gently coming back to center. And then we'll find our way down onto our mats. So letting each vertebrae settle down on the ground. Squeezing your knees into your chest. Giving yourself a gentle hug and releasing the spine from side to side. So I'm going to give you a couple of options of how to end the class. You can also take any other pose if you feel like your body is really calling out for something. You could come into waterfall pose just with the legs extended away from you, like we did at the start of class. Or perhaps it feels good for you to come into happy baby with the knees bending towards the armpits. Whichever pose you choose, take 5 deep breaths there, maybe letting the eyes close. Feeling again the back of the body pressing down into the ground. And when you've taken those 5 breaths, in your own time, releasing yourself down into Shavasana. Taking your time to gently let the body rest on the earth. Allowing the palms of the hands to face up in a receptive gesture. Let the whole body begin to relax here into the ground, surrendering into the support beneath you. Perhaps you take an exhalation through the mouth to let the jaw begin to soften. And as the body begins to rest, so too the mind, as it swings on the waves of each breath. Nothing to do here but rest in this stillness. If you have the time and you don't need to be anywhere, then please stay here for as long as you need to. If not, gently beginning to listen to the sounds you can hear around you. Deepening the breath here, inviting energy back into the body. And then beginning to take some small movements when you are ready. Wiggling fingers, toes, taking big stretch. And then bringing the knees into the chest when you are ready. Taking your time to roll over onto whichever side is good for you today. Take your time to come up to a seated position with your eyes softly closed. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Gently gathering your hands at your heart center. Connecting to yourself, palm to palm. Bowing your head in towards your hands. Thanking this body for all the wonderful things that it can teach us.